rolling yourself down. Your arms hang down loose. Rolling up through your spine. Bringing your shoulders back, lengthen out through the crown of the head and roll your shoulders round. And out. Roll the shoulders forward again, chin down, slide your hands down and down, and again hold the stretch. Bending your knees as you walk your hands forward and into a plank. Holding in your plank, stay zipped and hollow through your core, keep your neck long, everything in line. Holding. We're going to lift one foot off the floor and then come up into a single leg down dog. Come forward again to your plank and change your leg. Lifting up, single leg down dog. And back to your plank. And again, lift, alternating legs. Single leg down dog. Back to your plank. And last one, lift, single leg down dog. And come forward again to your plank. And pop your knees to the floor, flatten your feet out, sit your hips back to your heels and stretch your arms forward. Come up to your hands and knees with your hands under your shoulders and with your knees under your hips. Take a breath in, and engage your core and lengthen opposite arm and leg out. Lengthen, so you're long through the arm and long through the leg, but your hips and shoulders are still level. And down and slide back in, change sides, lengthen and lift again, keeping in line with the body. Lower down, slide back in, slide and lift. This time keep the arm and the leg straight, just lower down to the floor and lift again. Balanced through your hips and shoulders, lower, lift, lower, lift. And lift, lower, lift, and then slide back in. Change sides again, lengthen, and then lift, lower, and lift, lower, and lift, lift, lower, lift, lower, and slide back in. And bring your head down, lengthen your spine up to the ceiling. Scooping out, arch your back, looking upwards. And again, head down, lengthen the spine. Lower your hips back to your heels. Stretch your arms forward to child pose. Come back up to hands and knees, and now with your ball between your knees. Again, back to up, hands and knees. Squeeze the ball gently between the knees and just lift the ball just an inch or two off the floor. And down again. Squeeze and lift. And down. 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 Just two more. Squeeze and lift, scooping through your core. Down, and last one, squeeze and lift, and down. Now with your hands further forward, come into a half plank, and then pop the ball underneath your knees. And make sure the hands stay underneath the shoulders, and just roll the ball in towards you, and roll back out again to your half plank. So rolling in, roll away, keeping the ball as central as you can. We'll want to wiggle from side to side a little. Roll away. Tuck the knees in. Roll away. Tucking in. And roll away. Two more if you can. Roll away. Last one. And roll away. And then bring the knees either side of the ball. Again, down to child pose. Stretch your arms forward on the ball. Lengthen all the way down to your tailbone from your fingertips. And then roll the ball in towards you, the knees slightly apart. Both hands on the ball, and then roll forward, roll through to your elbows, lifting your hips. Tuck the tailbone under, round through the spine, and head's the last thing to come up. So your head doesn't get caught under the ball. Rolling forward, lifting your hips. and rolling back through your spine and tall, rolling forward, lifting your hips, rolling back, and just one more, rolling forward, rolling back, and tall. Pop the ball end of your mat and come down onto your front. Feel like the ball might stay where you leave it. Keep the hands and the elbows light to the floor. Big toes together, so your heels are relaxed out to the sides. Keep the legs and glutes relaxed as you gently lift the chest off the floor. So you're not using your hands at all, you're just using the muscles of the lower back. Stay zipped and hollowed, lifting up. Imagine you have eggshells, Pringles underneath your hands, so you're not tempted to push your hands into the floor. Down, lifting up, and down. Just one more, and down again. And now with the ball in front of you, arm's length, so fingertips slightly over the top, and then gently lift the chest off the floor. And down again. Scooping through your core as you lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Just a couple more. Stay zipped and hollowed. Down, and last one. Your left hand off the ball, you can reach around, bring the left heel in towards your hips. Keep your knees close together. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, push your hips downwards into the floor and keep the heel pulled in. Be careful overstretching your knees. Lengthening out through the front of your thigh. Open up the front of your hip. And release down. Change arms. Change your legs and bring the heel in towards you. Knees as close together. Take a breath in and breathing out, push your hips downwards and keep the heel pulled in towards your hips. And release down again. Then roll yourself onto your side and pop the ball in front of your chest. It's in line with the shoulder. Your arm is straight above the head with your ear on your arm. So your chin is off your chest and you're looking straight ahead of you rather than down to your body. And then keeping the feet together, lift both feet off the floor. And down again. Lift the feet up and down. If you can, also lift the head and the ribs. And lower down. You're shortening your waist as you lift. Staying zipped and hollow through your core. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Just one more. And lower down. Bend both knees. So your feet are lined up with your hips. Hips and shoulders are still stacked up to the ceiling. You can open up with the knee. Squeeze through the hip without tipping the hips back. So you're limited by the range of your hips without, whereas you're not rotating back to there, just as far as the hips allow you to. It helps do this one against the wall with the wall behind you, so there's nowhere for your hips to tip back to. Open with the knee and down, open and squeeze, and down. Open and squeeze, and down, squeeze, and just one more, and down. Keep the lower leg bent, just lengthen the top leg out, and then come up onto your elbow, and then pop the ball onto your thigh. So again, long through the neck, hips and shoulders still stacked to the ceiling, and gently lift the hips off the floor into a side plank. Keep the elbow tucked in underneath you, so looking down, shouldn't be able to see the elbow. Lifting up, lower down, lifting up and down. This time lift and hold, and then lift the top leg and down. So your hand is going to stay on the ball, arm is straight and leg is straight. But the ball is going to roll along outside of the thigh towards the outside of the knee as you lift the leg. Down, lift and down, lift and down, down. And then lower your hips down, rolling yourself up. Little side stretch across your legs over. Take the ball out to one side. Relax the shoulders down, so you're tall through the crown of the head, and then roll the ball to one side, reaching up, looking up to the ceiling. Back to the centre, and again roll away. And centre, one more, roll away, stretching over. To the centre, to the other side. Roll the ball away, stretching over. Centre, roll away, stretch over. Centre, and one more. And back to the centre. And then to the other end of the mat. So again, with your body straight and with the ball in front of your chest. So your arm underneath you is straight, palm flat onto the ball, and then gently lift both feet off the floor and down. So lifting the feet up. So stay zipped and hollow through your core. Exhale as you lift the legs. Inhale as you lower. Include the head and the ribs if you can. And down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Stay zipped and hollow through your core. Lower down. Exhale, lift. And lower. Exhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. And just one more. And lower down. And then bend both knees. So your feet are lined up with your hips and open. Squeeze through the hip. Down. Open and squeeze. Down. Open and squeeze. And down. Open and squeeze. And down. Squeeze. And down, and just one more, and down again. Lengthen the top leg out, come up onto your elbow, and pop the ball onto your thigh. Shoulders and hips are stacked up towards the ceiling. Lift your hips off the floor, and down again. Lifting up, down, lifting up, down, a lift. And down, lift and hold, lift the top leg, roll the ball to the knee, and down, lift, down, lift, and down, lift, and down, lift, down, lift, and down, lift, and down, and down, and then all the way down, and roll yourself over onto your back. And with the ball onto your shins, hug your knees into your chest, lifting your tailbone off the floor. Roll the ball across to your left knee, hug the left knee in towards you, bring your chin towards the knee if you can. As you lengthen the right leg out. Switching legs with ball, hug the right knee in. Switch and hug the left knee in. Switch, hug the right knee in. Hug the left knee in. Hug the right knee in. Hug in, switch and hug in. One more to each leg. And last one. And bring both feet down, bring the arms and the ball to the floor above the head. Slide out one leg, slide out both legs to full body stretch. And then slide both heels in towards your hips and lift both feet off the floor. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, lengthen both legs out and reach the ball forward to your knees. And lower your legs slightly as you bring the ball back to the floor above the head. Squeeze the ball and reach forward to your knees. If you're lifting your head, stay looking up to the ceiling. You can keep the head down to the floor if you prefer. Lift and lower lift, and lower, lift, and lower. Lift just to one knee, lower one leg down, lift, lower the other leg down, lift, down, lift, down, lift, and down, lift, down, lift, down. One more to each leg. Down, last one. And then bring both feet to the floor. And bring the ball back to the floor above the head. You lengthen out both legs. Again, full body stretch. And then slide both heels in towards your hips. Lift the ball up above your chest. The ball's between the palms of the hands. Reach the ball up to the ceiling, so just the shoulder blades are lifting up. And then gently squeeze the ball between the palms of the hands and push your shoulders down again. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, squeeze the shoulders down. So imagine it's a helium balloon that's lifting your shoulders. And now it's a cannonball that's pushing your shoulders down with no bend in the elbows or the wrists. Lifting up, squeezing down, lifting up, squeezing down, lifting up, squeezing down, reaching up and squeezing down. Just one more, reaching up and squeezing down. Then pop the ball underneath your tailbone. It's going to be supporting your hips rather than your lower back. So your spine is still in neutral. And then lift both feet up off the floor. Nice and steady on the ball. Arms down by your side. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, lengthen one leg out, lowering downwards and bend back in. Keeping the shin parallel to the floor. Imagine you have a spirit level on your shin. Lengthen and lower and bend back in. Lengthen and lower and bending in. Lengthen and lower, bending in. Keeping your spine in neutral. The back's curving over the ball. Take the ball lower down to your tailbone. Lengthen, lower, bend. Lengthen, lower and bend. One more to each leg. And last one. And then lengthen both legs away from bring both arms to the floor above the head. And bend the knees and bring your arms down again. Lengthen the legs, bring the arms back. Bend the knees and arms down. Lengthen the legs, arms back. Bend in the knees. Stay focused on a spot on the ceiling, or in this case a brick on the ceiling. And down. Lengthen. And down. Just one more. And down again. Lengthen both legs up towards the ceiling. Cross your feet over and then bring the feet wide. Just gently open through the hips. Lengthen and stretch your inner thighs. Cross the centre and wide. Cross and wide. Cross and wide. Cross and wide. Across, wide. Wide. And then bring the feet back to the centre. And then scissors, one leg lower, one leg switch and lower. Ease the leg gently in towards you without overstretching, just gently lengthening through the hamstrings. Switch and down, switch and down, switch and down, and down, and down. One more to each leg. Keep one leg lowered and one leg towards you and circle them around to switch them over. So they're both going clockwise and then they're both going anti-clockwise. So around, 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 around. One more to each direction. And last one. And then bend the knees and bring both feet to the floor. So your toes are on the floor or your feet flat if you need to. Gently hold the sides of the ball with your thumbs and then lift your hips up off the ball. And then push down to the ball, scooping through your core, squash the ball into the mat. and then squeeze the glutes and lift. Squashing down to the mat and lift. Squash the ball into the mat and lift. Squashing down, lift. Squashing down, lift. Squashing down and lift. Two more if you can. Down, lift, and one more. And lift, and then take the ball out from underneath the hips. And with the ball onto your shins, hug your knees into your chest, lift your tailbone off the floor. Pop the ball between your knees. Bring your arms to the floor above the head. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, lengthen your legs, lift your arms, lift your head, lift your shoulders, and roll yourself up to your hips. Bend the knees, rolling down, using as much control as you can. Lengthen the legs, you're tipping the balance forward, rolling up to your hips, rolling down. If you need to, just pop your hands underneath the thighs for a little bit of support. And on the way down, lengthen, rolling up, and down, and lengthen, rolling up, and down. Just one more, lengthen, rolling up, holding if you can. And then bring the feet to the floor and reach forward to your toes. And roll back up. Pop the ball underneath your ankles, so heels are over the top. And then lowering yourself down, halfway back, scooping through your core, rolling up and tall. So chin down, round and lower. Roll up tall, scoop and lower, and tall, scoop lower and hold it there if you can. Bring your hands behind you and lifting your hips up into reverse plank and hold. Neck is staying long, holding, keep the hips lifted, stay zipped and hollowed, holding, holding, 3, 2, 1, and lower the hips down. Keep the ball underneath the ankles, roll all the way down and stretch your arms to the floor above the head. Bring your arms down by your side and lift your left foot off the floor, off the ball. Roll the ball in towards you with the right leg and then roll the weight as you bring the left knee in. So one leg is rolling the ball in while the other leg is lengthening. Rolling in, roll away, rolling in, roll away. Knee doesn't come into the chest, just above the hip. Roll away, rolling in. And then changing over legs on the ball. So lift one leg up, roll the ball in, and roll away as you bring the knee in towards you. Rolling in, roll away. Rolling in, roll away. Rolling in. Keeping your spine in neutral, so you're going to stay strong for the core. Stay zipped and hollowed, your belly buttons gently pulled in towards your spine, pelvic floor muscles gently pulled up both by about 30%. Rolling in and roll away. Just one more. And roll away. Bring both feet back down onto the ball and stretch your arms to the floor above the head. Take a deep breath in as you stretch. As you breathe out, circle your arms around, roll the ball in, reaching forward, and then roll away, rolling in, reaching forward, roll away, rolling in, reaching forward, roll away, rolling in, roll away, rolling in, roll away, rolling in, roll away, and two more, rolling in, away, and last one, and roll away, and stretching tall. And then bring your heels in towards you, just losing the ball. Scoop around, hug your knees into your chest, lift your tailbone off the floor. Rock your knees gently back and forth. And then bring both feet down to the ground. So your spine is going to be neutral. Your arms are down by your side. Slide your fingertips down towards your hips. Slide your heels in close towards your hips. Your neck's going to stay really long. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, pull your belly button towards your spine. Push your lower back into the floor and curl just the tailbone off the mat. And release back to neutral. So you've got a little gap through your lower back when your spine is in neutral. And then you're pushing your spine to the floor. Take that little gap away as you tilt. And then release back to neutral. Scoop and tilt. Breathing in as you release. Exhale, scoop and tilt. Inhale as you release. Exhale, scoop. Now release. Just one more. And release. And then onto your toes, or keep the feet flat if you prefer. Leading with the tailbone, you're going to peel all the way up through your spine and up into a bridge. Breathing in at the top of the bridge. Breathing out, rolling down slowly back to neutral. Breathing in, breathing out, scooping, peeling up and up onto your shoulders. Inhale at the top. Exhale, rolling down slowly back to neutral. Exhale, scooping, peeling up and up and up into your bridge. Breathing in, breathing out down through your spine, back to neutral. Scooping, peeling up and up into your bridge, rolling down and back to neutral. Last one, coming up into your bridge and hold in your bridge and bringing one knee into knee fold, lengthen the leg towards the ceiling. Keep your legs straight, just lower your hips about halfway and then push back up. Lower and push. Intense on the glute. Stay zipped and hollow through your core, keeping your hips level. Lift, lower, lift, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. One more. Bend the knee, bring the foot to the floor, changing legs, lengthen the leg to the ceiling. And then lower a little and lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lift, lower, lift, lift, lower. Really focus on that glute and the core. Lower, lift, lift. And then bend the knee, bring the foot down, roll down through your spine and back to neutral. And hug both knees into your chest. Lift your tailbone gently off the floor as you hug your knees in. And then gently rock your knees back and forth. And then bring both feet down to the floor. Lengthen out your left leg with your left hand, bring the right knee across to your left side and look away from the knee. Just stretching all the way from your knee through your hip and lower back to your shoulder. And release, changing legs. Bring the knee across, look over your shoulder. A little bit of tension onto the knee, adding to the stretch through the glute. Back to the centre, hug both knees into your chest, lifting your tailbone off the floor. And rock the knees gently back and forth. Bring both feet down to the ground, bring your knees wide, you open through the hips. Stretch your arms to the floor above the head. Breath in. As you breathe out, slide your heels away, lengthening tall, full body stretch from fingertips to toes. And then bring your heels back in again with your hands under your knees, rolling yourself up. Bring the feet to the floor, coming over to hands and knees. Bring your head down, push your back up to the ceiling, lengthen through the spine. Scooping out as you arch your back, looking upwards. Again, head down, lengthen the spine. Lower your hips down, feel your heels, stretch your arms forward to child pose. And bring your arms down by your side, turn your palms to face upwards, drop the shoulders down.